Yo, my name's Bradley Aston and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about a new light that I've got, and it is the Fotor Gear RGB tube light. It's brand new, they released it I believe last month, and it's actually been on sale the last few weeks coming up to Christmas, and with it being Black Friday recently as well. Now this at first glance does look like a Pavo tube or a NAND light tube, but with the big difference being this is about £70. I think it works out about $90 US, I think. Considerably cheaper, which is obviously for any budget filmmakers or any solo shooters out there, or anybody just moving into the photography and videography realm that realises gear is very expensive, is an absolute plus. So I want to go over the main functions of this light and take a look at it. Now, when it first arrived, anybody who loves their gear, looks after their gear, always appreciates a good case. Now this is actually really good. It's a hard case, so as you can, it's pretty tough. I mean, I would happily drop it in this case and feel completely safe. It's got a decent handle on it, and the handle can also come off by using these little clips here. Now I won't lie, 9 times out of 10 I don't keep things in their cases unless I'm traveling. Now this light actually fits into my rucksack really well, so probably not going to keep it in its case too often unless I need to strap it to the outside of my backpack. Then maybe I'll use this, but always a nice feature to have. Now moving on to the light itself, it's around 30 centimeters, maybe just a little bit bigger, and is super bright. So I've been using this for the last 2 weeks, and I've used it on photo shoots, some video shoots, some commercial work. So I use it as a fill light for a photo shoot in a sunset, where the subject was backlit by the sun, and this was just providing a bit more light on her face. And as you can see on the screen now, those photos actually turned out really nice. Looking at the body of the light, really well made, really tough. Like I say, I'd quite happily feel quite safe dropping it and wouldn't worry too much about it. It's got a bit of weight to it. It has got a little bit of weight to it, which is nice. It has a quarter thread on both sides, so you can mount it either way. I don't know why, to be completely honest, because if you're mounting it this way, I don't see much difference if you're mounting it this way. But it's there in case you need it for whatever reason. Now, on the back, you've got 4 buttons, a little display, and your charging port. It's USB-C, which is superb because most devices now come with a USB-C charger anyway. Really easy to turn on, didn't use the instructions, just figured it out, and it's just a case of holding down the top button and holding it down for a few seconds, and then it turns on. Oh, let's turn that down, that's bright. Speaking of turning it down, that is one thing that has not annoyed me, but it has definitely slowed me down a little bit, and it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, and that is when you're turning the saturation up or the brightness up or whichever, you'd expect the right arrow to increase the value and the left arrow to decrease. Not a big deal, but they are switched, so just bear that in mind, because there have been a few times where I've turned it up by accident and not meant to. We have our normal white light. I have matched it to my SL60W, and the colour temperature matches perfectly fine, which is very different to my Yongnuo light, which I've done a review on. I'll put it up here right now, and that one was slightly cooler. This matches with it absolutely perfectly, so superb. It is bicolour. You can change it and go from 6000 Kelvin all the way down to 2600 Kelvin, which is perfect. I personally don't need it any warmer than that. I don't need it any whiter than that, any brighter, any lighter. One of those. And you can drop your percentage all the way down to 1%. Now, any lower than 4%, it does start to make a bit of a buzzing noise, but nothing that you pick up on camera. It's really quiet, simply because you're down so low, so it's not a big issue at all. And at 100%, this is really, really bright. Now, you could probably use this as a key light. In fact, let's turn off the key light. Let's see what we're working with. That's on 50%. So you could easily use this as a key light. That's actually pretty impressive. You can have it above. Actually, this looks really nice as an overhead. Yeah, I can dig that. You definitely dig that. That looks sick. Let's turn the main light back on. There we go, I'm back. I even use it as a hair light, a rim light. I used it for some interview shots the other day and it works completely perfectly. No problems whatsoever. Now, when it comes to mounting this, you haven't only got these little quarter thread mounts on the end, you also have 3 magnets around the outside. The 3 magnets are so that you can set it to different angles when you're putting it on a stand. Now, be aware that these will not mount to your bog standard cheap lighting stands, simply because they're not magnetic. They will, however, mount to your C-stands. Some of the other features on this light is the fact that it is RGB. Now, I love the way this is set out. So with the Yongnuo, you do have to individually input the red, green and blue values. This is just a hue scale. So it's literally just a case of using your arrow keys, you can scroll through all the different hues until you get to the exact one that you want. And say we want the blue, and then all we want to do is turn down that's brightness 10%. If I want to turn the brightness up, again, we can turn the brightness up, no problem. And if it's a little bit too saturated, you want it to be a little bit more white, then we can turn down the saturation as well. You have full control over what your colour is like with this light, and it's absolutely fantastic. Now, for your filmmakers, we do have some built-in effects. Now, built-in effects are normally a little bit gimmicky, not something that I can see myself using very often at all, to be completely honest, but I'd rather have them there than not have them there. Some of the more useful ones are your lightning. There's also another version of a flash as well, which looks very similar to the lightning, but I suppose it's personal taste. You do have a fire or candle effect, and you do have a TV screen or computer screen effect as well. I could actually see myself using that one. Some of the other effects do include disco mode or RGB colour fade mode. There's also another version of that that's slightly faster. You do have your classic fire engine, which does actually work really well. Maybe I'll use that, we'll see. Maybe. I might be able to find a reason for it. Then you have ambulance mode and your police car mode as well. So there's quite a few effects on there, to be honest. For put it this way, for $90, or it works out like 80 odd pound, you can't complain at that. That's pretty cool. You've got magnets, decent build quality, decent brightness, full RGB control, saturation control, and you've got built-in effects. And it's decent size. It's small enough to fit in a bag, but bright enough that you can use it as a key light. To me, that's a winner. This is probably going to be my new light that stays in my rucksack and goes everywhere with me, to be honest, purely because of its form factor and how capable it is. And I can see me using it, or at least finding a way to use it in every single shot that I'm using. I actually filmed a Christmas rap video for our Zoom Christmas party with a few friends and used it to light this backdrop, fully red.
It's Christmas, yeah. It's Christmas Day. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas. Come on.
Yep, that happened. Yeah, let's move on. Let's just move on from that. Yep. So the battery life. Obviously, I'm not using these on any big productions at the moment because they're not happening. So the second longest shoot I have of the week is my weekly Zoom call with a bunch of friends of mine. And that normally goes on for about 2 hours. On full charge, 100% brightness in your normal white or warm white mode, this will last you 2 hours and 40 minutes exactly. Now that will depend on the temperature outside, the temperature of the battery, but from 100% to 0 where it turned off, 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is pretty damn good. I can't see myself using it any longer than that. RGB mode on fully charge at 100% with saturation full. This will last you 4 hours and 15 minutes on RGB. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty cool. Now, if you are going to be shooting any longer than that, you are able to actually run a power bank into this whilst it's on. So you can charge it actively whilst the light is on and running. So I do this a lot. I carry a battery pack with me. I actually carry 2 battery banks in my rucksack, and they are for my little aperture MC light, which I'm using as a hairlight right now. And I do keep a few smaller ones as well to attach to light stands, so that I can charge lights like this and just give them that extra bit of juice to make them last that little bit longer. Now, my last thing about this light is the fact that when it is dying and it is on its way out, you don't notice a loss in brightness at all. So this will stay pretty much as bright as when you first turned it on, all the way up until the point where it just shuts off, which is great for interviews. When your light, there's nothing worse than lighting up a backdrop and it's slowly getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and ruining your exposure as you go through that interview. You can visually see it getting darker in between the cuts. There's nothing worse. So, absolutely superb. Absolutely cracking light. So do I think the Fotor gear light's worth it for how much it costs? 100%, definitely. I think every photographer or filmmaker should have a portable light in their bag no matter what you do. Whether it's portraiture, whether it's videos, promo videos, interviews, corporate videos, landscape shots, light painting. I think everybody should have a portable light, because you never know when you're going to need that little bit of light in the background or a little bit of a kick light at events. It could be anything. And for 80 odd quid, I think this is absolutely spot on. So yeah, that's all for this week. If you're a filmmaker, photographer, freelancer, or looking into the freelance world and you like this form of content, then please consider subscribing down below. Give us a big thumbs up to show your support, and enjoy the rest of your week. Have a lovely Christmas, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Goodbye.